Are you aspiring to ace the UPSC CSE? Commence your transformational journey with the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025. Empower your exam preparation through cutting-edge educational technology and personalized learning experiences with tech-enabled learning. Dive into concepts with animations, videos, and interactive tools designed for maximum understanding and retention. Personalized student portal. Access live classes, recorded sessions, and extensive academic resources, all at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Enroll now and step closer to accomplishing your IAS dream. With the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025, batches starting from 31st August, 5 p.m., 17th September, 9 a.m., 24th September, 1 p.m., 30th September, 5 p.m.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So, how many of you are from economics background? Okay, okay, just for information. So, my name is Sudhir, and I will be taking up this session related to how to prepare Indian economy, the economy component. Okay, so whenever I start, my first question would be, obviously, how many of you are from economics background? First question. Second question would be, how many of you are afraid of economics? Okay, so nobody. How many of you feel that economics is difficult? So that is what is the question. Afraid in the sense, how many of you feel that economics is difficult? Okay, fine. So that these are the two questions I ask. Okay, so I think some familiar faces out here. Yes. Okay, so and see, one important understanding here is when it comes to UPSC economics as such, UPSC economics is not difficult. Why? Because why is it not difficult is because there is nothing like any, you don't have any core economics related questions in UPSC. We'll see why also, we'll see some questions also. We'll see what our approach is going to be. Okay, you don't have any core technical solid questions of core economics in UPSC. UPSC is always about simple basic questions. You have to believe this. And everything is mentioned in a structured format in the syllabus. And if I just follow that, then the accuracy rate is almost like 90%, if not 90, 85% in prelims. Okay, so we'll talk about all that. Now, before I start, the first question to you all is, why is it that we study economics? What is the reason? What is the main reason? Why should somebody study economics? Is there any reason to study? Just asking you. To make money or whatever reason you feel, why should somebody study economics?
To make sure that the use of resources is done in an efficient way.
Okay, so point taken. So one is, since resources are limited, now you have to use these resources very efficiently. Okay, and for which the study of economics is going to help you. Now, there is also a saying that economist is like a scientist plus a saint. Probably, why? Because one is, he should think about optimum utilization of resources. Optimum means the best utilization. That is what is efficiency. Second is, he should also think about taking care of maybe the underdeveloped or the unserved population. Unserved population. That means on one side, efficiency. Second, effectiveness. Three, equity. Equity here is equals are treated equally, unequals are treated unequally. So when I talk about certain priority areas, now after independence also, resources are very important. We had limited resources because of drain of wealth. The Britishers have taken away everything. And these resources have to be utilized very efficiently, number one. Number two, even effectively with equity. Equity is what? I should extend my resources, spend my resources for the needy, for the poor. Here, efficiency will not work. Efficiency is only one aspect. Similarly, when it comes to policy making, why economics becomes important is, it is not just about market where you talk about efficiency. It is also about effectiveness and equity. That is the reason we study economics, and economics discussion is also part of our syllabus. Very important and very clear. Of course, in personal life, why should we study economics? That's a different thing altogether. Everything today, if you observe, can be pushed into two important aspects, that is demand and supply. Everything in life, of course, leave aside spiritual aspects. Other than that, everything in life can be pushed into two important aspects, demand and supply. Okay, whenever there are more people aspiring for something, the demand for that particular entity is going to increase. Simple logic, right? Demand, for example, UPSC. Okay, and everything is part of demand and supply. Now, first of all, for UPSC preparation, what has to be done is, the most important aspect is for UPSC, I should know that the whole economic story has maybe 200 to 250 words. I call them as keywords. Once I know the keywords, superficially at least, that will set my base for further preparation. Okay, are you able to get this? For example, if you open your NCERT textbook also, macroeconomics textbook, at the end, there are some words. Okay, so what are the different words? Probably you'll find words like demand, supply, inflation, deflation, disinflation, GDP. What are these? These are words. Economic growth, economic development, inequality. Now these are words. So once I know the terms, there's no way you can dive into the syllabus without understanding some terms and terminologies. So why most of them find it difficult is because you don't know anything about any word and you straight away dig into national income. You straight away start focusing on fiscal policy, okay, or budget. No, that is not the approach. The first thing is I should get familiar with respect to words. Once I'm familiar with respect to words, then when I start reading newspaper also, you will understand, oh, newspaper reading, when I'm doing, oh, today this is the news. There is some foreign portfolio investors who are moving in or moving out of India. That means it's also a word. Who is a foreign portfolio investor? That means you should have that nature where I'll go and check what it is. It is again a word. So economy is all about that bundle of words of 200, 250. Once I know them, then my preparation will become simple. So without knowing those words, also you can read, but what will happen is you can't form a connectivity between one topic and another topic. It's very important. UPSC, what will happen? The question, if it is there, you'll have options. One statement will be from one chapter. Another statement will be from another chapter. This is what you will find. You will not find inflation related question. And all the four options are from inflation. That will never happen in economics. Because economics is something like one factor has an impact on other factors. I think you're getting this, right? So that is the reason, once I know the terms and terminologies, I can form a connectivity or link. This is very important. First thing which you have to keep in mind is, that is the reason you should know what? Keywords. I hope it is clear. Understood, everybody? Okay, so so this I've already mentioned. Is UPSC economics difficult? Definitely not. I will tell you one simple formula. If there are 15 to 20 questions in UPSC, 80% accuracy rate is possible. That means if there are 10 questions, I can get 8 right. Of course, 2 questions we are leaving to the God. Why? Because there will be some difficult questions or there will be some dicey questions where nobody knows the answer. UPSC comes up with the key, then we get to know this is the answer. Okay, so leaving those, my accuracy rate with respect to certain subjects should be optimum. For example, polity also the same thing. Suppose there are 18 questions in polity, and suppose you are marking only 13 or 14. That means the chances are we are out of the race. Similarly, when I talk about economics, what will happen is if there are 20 questions or 15 questions, if your accuracy rate is less, that means there are easy questions, doable questions, you should not be leaving. Okay, so it is not difficult. The reason being why it is not difficult is for the simple fact that there are no technical questions, number one. Number two, in mains, GS3, if there are 8 questions that are asked from economics, you can guess 6 to 7 questions. Anybody can guess. Who can guess? How will he guess? I will talk about that later. But anybody can guess 6 to 7 questions that they will come from this particular area. It is very possible. It is not like like a rocket science where you can't tell like this is the area where the question will not come or will come. So it's very clear. It is clearly mentioned in the syllabus that here are my important areas and the questions will be asked from here. Very clearly mentioned. But what we do is we leave the syllabus and we start running around somewhere. Okay, picking up magazines, picking up that, this, Yojana, Kurukshetra, X, Y, Z. Okay, so leaving aside NCRT, number one. Number two, leaving aside syllabus copy. Okay, so this is what we will see. So, if I study economics, where is it useful? There are 3 areas, obviously, where economics will be useful. One would be prelims. Okay, and in prelims, this is a chart which shows the number of questions recently. Okay. And then in mains, we have GS3, where you will find around 9 questions, 9 to 10 questions coming from economics plus Indian agriculture. Economy plus agriculture. Okay, so that is one area. 3, if I develop proper economics knowledge, automatically I'll be able to write good essays as well. I'll show you how. Okay, so of course, we're not going to discuss essay, this is not essay. But when I read some topics, I should read it in a holistic manner. Okay, so if I read it in a holistic manner, I can use it even for essay. So these are the areas. So what are the areas? 1, prelims. 2, mains, general studies. 3, GS3. And 3, when I do something in a very detailed manner. Okay, so I will be able to write good introductions in essay, etc. So these are the main areas. Then third area, obviously, in the interview. Interview, obviously, the questions will be on current economy. So what are the current issues as far as economy? For example, current economy, if you say government in the budget decided that there is no angel tax. Of course, I'm not going to discuss any subject here. So government was saying angel tax will be removed. So then comes the question like, what is the word? See, economics, all the economics aspects start with a word. And even a current affair in economics comes up with a concept. Understand that. It doesn't come up only with a fact, it comes up with a concept. For example, there is some word called angel tax. That means this angel tax itself is a concept. I think you're getting my point, right? So angel tax may not be there in the regular books, but angel tax discussions will be there in the current affair. But this angel tax comes up with something like an added concept also. That means you can't say angel tax is like income tax. That means angel tax is something different. So this is what happens in economics. Why it is little dynamic in nature. But dynamic in nature means it also, the current affairs also comes up with some concept involved. Okay, and if I understand the concept, then I need not mug up anything. If I don't understand the concept, then you have to mug the syllabus out. So this is what is the logic. Very simple. Now see, this is the importance of economics when it comes to prelims. Prelims, this is just a data. You can see 2018, some 18 questions, 19, 14, 2020 there were 15, 21 there were 16, 22, 14, 23, 15, 24 also around 15 questions. Okay, so these are the number of questions. Accuracy rate target should be 90. 90% should be the target. But if at all there is a difficult paper, 1 or 2 questions, it's okay. I think you're getting my point, right? So this should be the target. Now, general studies, mains, GS3, around 105 to 120. It varies. And this is a paper where nowadays scores are pretty low. That means students are ending up getting 75, 80, okay? And this is how is the situation. But what we should understand is, if everybody is getting around 80, we should get 95. So this is all about averages. When I say averages means, I perform above average in almost all my GS papers. And you can't fall at 50 or 60 or 67 or 70. And when the toppers are falling at 90 or 95. The problem would be that 25 marks, to cover those 25 marks in UPSC is not going to be easy. Okay, so that is very important that I have to be very careful with respect to averages. Averages is like, I don't like this subject, I'll leave it. No, but I should be getting 95. I should get at least 95 and above in almost all the subjects. I don't want 130, but 95, 100, 95, 100. And then optional 280. That's how you'll get into service. So this should be kept in mind. So here you can see General Studies GS3 around 110 to 120. Okay. Now comes relevance of Indian economy in UPSC. So when I talk about relevance of Indian economy in UPSC, as I've mentioned, so currently, of course, there are no economic essays. For example, earlier there were some essays like poverty anywhere is threat to prosperity everywhere. This was an essay topic, previous essay topic around 2016 or 2017. Okay, of course, that also is not purely economics. Poverty is a social issue. But the topic says poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. Okay, got the point right. Okay, so what is the essay saying? What is the essay talking about? Like, what is that line? If there is poverty anywhere, it can affect prosperity anywhere, everywhere. That, you're right. So suppose that what he says is, his example is absolutely right. I think if there is poverty in Northwest Frontier Province, okay, it can also lead to twin blasts in US. Okay. I think you're getting me. You can't say, I am not in poverty. You are in poverty. No, you can't escape. Poverty anywhere is threat to prosperity everywhere. So here the question is, we are not talking about what is poverty and all that, but poverty anywhere can be a threat to a prosperity. Poverty in a poor country can also be a threat to prosperity of a rich nation like US. Simple. Similarly, poverty today can be a threat to my future generations. Poverty anywhere is threat to prosperity everywhere, including future generations. Why? Okay, he says genetic problems. Of course, genetic problems can come even if you're rich also. Vicious cycle of poverty. More than that, for example, if I say environment, when I say sustainable development goals, heard of this? Okay. What is the meaning of sustainable development? Development without damaging something for the future generations, in simple words. Okay, you are focusing on development that should not affect the future generations. That is what is sustainable development. And if you should be knowing, the first sustainable development goal is poverty. Elimination of poverty. Why? Because suppose, simple example, today if there is poverty, let's say the rural mother is using chula. Because why is she using that? It leads to pollution also, and it is also intoxicating. It's very difficult for her. It is also because she does not have a gas cylinder. So first of all, you should give her gas cylinder and then say not to pollute. So before thinking of sustainable development, I should first handle what? Poverty. Give her gas cylinder and then comment. I think you're getting my point right. Similarly, it is very simple. Suppose you ask me, think of your great-granddaughter or granddaughter, and you are stuck in poverty. I don't have a square meal to eat, and you're asking me to think of my future generations. That will never happen. When you're stuck in poverty, I'm only thinking about how will I handle myself. I will never think of future generations. That will never happen. So today, if there is poverty, if government spends more money on poverty, government cannot build infrastructure. Government cannot spend more money on health, education, and other resources. That will also affect future generations. Today, if there is poverty, then that means there will be more environment pollution also. Poverty and environmental destruction go together. So more usage of fossil fuels. That will affect the future generation. That is, poverty anywhere is threat to prosperity everywhere, including future generation. So this is from the environment perspective. I can look at poverty from environment. I can look at poverty from internal security. For example, if northeastern states, if you're not taking care, if they don't feel integrated, or if there are troubles there, if it leads to infiltration problem, it is an aspect of internal security. Poverty anywhere can be a threat to prosperity even at the central portion of India. So this is how it is. I think it is clear. I have not defined anything, and there's nothing like a difficult word here. This is to just give you that connectivity can be made from one topic to another topic, or maybe one chapter to another, one subject to another subject. I hope it is clear. But first of all, I should know the words properly. Once I know it, then things will be simple. I hope it is clear. Right? Similarly, if you see here, nowadays you have philosophical essays. So this is a philosophical essay. Okay, I can put this philosophical essay, I can introduce this philosophical essay using maybe capitalism and socialism. Heard of capitalism? Okay, what is capitalism? When you listen to this word capitalism, what is that strikes you? Private property, okay, taken. Then laissez-faire, okay. Free market, okay. So they have given some words. Now I'll ask you one more question. Today, it is a victory of capitalism, or is it a victory of communism? Capital, if you look at around yourself today, outside, go and see, sit and think. You will understand that all the problems you are facing today is all because of capitalism. You want to do better, better, better. Better than whom? Don't know. You don't know. You want to do better, better than others. This is a cycle. You want to do better, better, better. You stress yourself. You go to hospitals. You pay your bills. Okay, you go to restaurants. You pay your bills. Again, you get affected. You want to earn more because you want to do all this. You are in a cycle. You are in a loop. You are in a maze. This is created by capitalism. You don't think, but it is true. But then why is it that this capitalism is so successful? Is the question. Why is capitalism so successful? Why didn't communism be successful is the question. Got the question? Why? Simple logic. One simple logic is capitalism is very close to human nature, that is selfishness. Suppose what is communism? Let's say I gave 1 acre of land to all of you and asked you to produce. And whatever you have produced, I have taken it away from you. And I have distributed among yourselves based on your need, your requirement. Or maybe equally, it's my choice. Based on need, but not on your efficiency. Next day, probably this girl may think, I am very talented. I have the efficiency to produce more. Why should I produce? And she will stop producing. That means she will try becoming less efficient. This is what happens. So this is a problem. Why is she thinking that way? Because inherently humans are selfish. And capitalism is very close to this concept of selfishness. And that is what is profit motive. I work hard, I want profit. For example, Elon Musk, when he has tested his rockets, SpaceX, 2 are gone. There is a YouTube video, you can see he's crying. Everything is gone. What to do? Now suppose US government comes and says, whatever is your third result, you're successful, let's share the profits. Will he be interested in putting in so much of effort and research? No. Simple logic. The logic is very simple. That is how capitalism has survived, and capitalism is more scientific. Okay, so capitalism or Adam Smith. Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nations gives so much of importance to wealth. So wealth above individual. Okay. On the other side, if I talk about communism or Karl Marx is more emotional. Emotional. Okay, got the point. What is emotion? Karl Marx is good. It is also a theory. Communism is also a theory. So Karl Marx talks about something like equal societies and all that. Now the problem here is it is more emotional. Today you find a victory of a scientific man, capitalism, or Adam Smith over Karl Marx or socialism. Simple understand. History is a series of victories won by the scientific man over the romantic man. This was the essay, not economics. This is a philosophical essay. What are philosophical essays? Something which we don't understand. That is what I define philosophical essays that way only. That means you can define it any way you want. No? You can say this is what I write. Somebody else will write something else, and ultimately you get some score. Okay, so it is more of a test of English. But here you can see history is a series of victories won by the scientific man over romantic man. Scientific man, more rational. Romantic man, more emotional. Karl Marx, Adam Smith. So probably if I know some words in economics, what the intention of explaining this is to tell you, when I read economics, when I understand it, probably I will hit it anywhere I want. I will use it wherever I feel like using it. That is what is the intention. I hope it is clear. So this is just to give you a perspective that yes, in essay also, my knowledge will not get wasted, but I will use it if required. It is not a time waste. That's all. Now coming to interview portion. Interview, basically you have current economy topics and government policies. These are very important. For example, if I ask you, what is the problem of banks today? What is the problem of banks presently? Less deposits. Banks are not getting cash. Why? People are putting in mutual fund. Marketing of mutual funds is so strong from 2015. Mutual fund sahi hai. 12% return. You may get 0 also, 1 also, 5 also. But public are ready to take risk. Young generation is ready to take risk. They will not put the money in the bank, and they are more interested in putting the money in the mutual fund because of this marketing line, mutual fund sahi hai. You see the advertisements? Now, because of which banks don't have cash. What is the primary function of the bank? Accept deposit, give loan. When they accept deposit, it pays us interest. When it gives loan, we pay the bank interest. The gap between both the interests is what is called as interest margin for the bank. This is what everybody has understood now. There's no confusion. This interest margin should be high or low for the bank? High. Bank will be making more profit if this interest margin. Suppose you are an investor investing in stock markets. Suppose I invest. So I first check what is the interest margin of the banks. Is it falling or increasing? If the interest margin is falling, it means this bank will make lesser profits in the next 6 months, and therefore the price of the stock will fall. If the interest margins are increasing, this bank will make more profits. I can bet on this bank. I think you're getting my point, right? Now, if the deposits are not coming, then banks have to raise money from elsewhere. And when it is raising money from elsewhere, there is an increase in cost for the bank. Cost of arranging fund. Fund you are arranging, no? Why are you arranging this fund? To give loan? Deposit is better for them. Why? 3.5%. 6% on FD they used to give. Now they are giving 7.2, 7.3 because competition is more. Otherwise, that means bank is able to arrange good funds at lesser cost. I think you're getting this. But if you do the same by doing it from market, you want to raise through market, you're giving 8% interest. You're raising money from the market, giving them 8. That means your cost of funds is what? Increasing or decreasing? Increasing. That means your margin will decrease. Is it difficult here? So here what I was trying to explain is bank will earn some profits. That profit primarily depends on 2 things. No? The interest we pay when we take loan, and the interest the bank pays when we take deposits. When we give deposits, bank pays us. I hope it is clear, right? So this is a current affair. Now currently, what is the problem of bank? That is a current affair. Okay, so this is simple to explain. That's the reason I mentioned it. So, and also government policies. Policies are very important. For example, if I ask you production linked incentive, heard of this word? Production linked incentive. Come produce in India, we will give you incentive. Why are you giving incentive? Why should you give them incentive? Why should they produce in India? Anybody? Why should they produce in India? Generates jobs for Indians. Okay, one is job creation, point taken. Anything else? Tax in India. Okay. Impacts GDP. Okay. Reduce trade deficit. Big words. A trade deficit. Okay. Reduce trade deficit. Okay. See, this trade deficit, export, import, we are not talking. It's not an economics class. Okay. Fine. Good. But see here, the question here is, instead of producing in India, they can also produce in Mexico. They can also produce in Turkey. And these governments are also ready to give subsidies. Then why is that they have to come to India? Market. Availability of market. Once I produce, immediately market is there. They will buy. People will take loan and buy. Got the point now? Credit is there, deposit is not there, but they will take loan. Without money also, they will beg, borrow and buy. And we are giving them a huge market once they produce. It's a huge advantage, no? Ready market. Otherwise, India is far away geographically from maybe US market or European market. If they produce in Mexico, it is better for them when it comes to geographical aspect. But here, you have a readily available market and our incomes are also increasing. If income is not there, I will take loan and also buy iPhone. This is the logic. So you have a ready market through credit. Indians are now crazy. That is the reason bank is not understanding. Economy is average. Deposits are not coming. Credit in full swing. Everybody's ready. During COVID also people are ready to take credit. Now this is how, so that is credit. You can link credit to production link incentive to market. That means market is also dependent on what then? So when I use the word market, first of all, what is market? Anybody? What is market? When I use the word market, what is market? It is a place where buyers and sellers meet. Yes, you can ask. No, subject means no deep questions here. Others should also understand. Yes.
So as you said that people are borrowing from the bank and then expanding. So the new regulations are there where government is counting the efficiency of the people, their prosperity of the people based on the expenditure. Okay, so if the government will get to know that people are buying something and they are expending, so they are prosperous. But in the real sense, as they are borrowing from the bank and they will pay interest, so in real sense they are not so prosperous. So is it not the wrong way to?
There's nothing like right and wrong. First of all, remove wrong and right, but I'll explain what your doubt is. See, there are two things which you should understand. First thing is, what he says is, see, today there is, let's say, households. Okay, households. Households have two things. One is households are doing what? Savings. Okay. This is one. Okay, and this saving is dependent on what? This saving is dependent on income. Is that okay? Yeah. If my income is less, you can't say saving is dependent on bank interest rate. For example, my salary is 50,000 per month. Okay, I may save some money. If my salary becomes 1 lakh, automatically savings will increase in the bank. Simple logic. That means if banks need more money also, household savings should increase. Simple logic. That means this income increases, okay, savings will also increase. Agreed? Now, what is the data? Data is saying, suppose household savings are dropping. Data is saying household savings are dropping, okay. But on the other side, household debt is increasing. Okay, household debt. Debt means what? Loan. Somebody like very fresh to economics. So just he has asked the question, that's the reason I had to use this word. Debt means loan, you're borrowing, okay. Household debt is increasing, that means they are borrowing, okay. Now this debt can be taken for different aspects. For example, you can take debt for a personal loan. What is a personal loan?
For personal issue.
Not personal issue, but consumption loan. Consumption. You can take loan, fill petrol in your bike, do breakfast with the loan. Okay, so this is also, you can take loan, no? Hand loan from friend. For what? Breakfast. Every day. I don't have money. Or fill petrol in your bike. You can do that. This is what kind of loan is this? Consumption loan. Personal loan. Banks say, 11%, 12% interest. Consumption loan. You don't have income, you require consumption loan also. Because I want to, or I can take loan to build some asset. Which will, what is an asset? This will give me return. at a future date. Now the question is, what he says is, if you are spending, is it wrong? No. If I'm spending and it is leading to creation of assets, this shows that I have a future perspective that my job, see, why will I spend and buy a house when I know that I'll lose my job? Okay, suppose you know that within 6 months you're out. Then will you take a home loan for 15 years, which software engineers do? One loan, finished. One loan, 15 years, wife and husband, in the cycle. One big house has ruined their life. No, but you're very, very positive, no? That in future, my prospects will be good. This is good. This loan is okay. This is what Madam says, Nirmala Sitharaman Madam says, if this is the case, it is always okay. But if this is the case,
Yes, sir. The same thing I was asking. That
then
if, sir,
what?
if there is someone who is purchasing iPhone from that is not a...
No, forget about iPhone. iPhone is okay. You're thinking of iPhone itself means you're rich. What is this? See, now when I say per capita consumption expenditure, when I'm measuring poverty, see what is poverty? Somebody who's getting less than 2,400 calories per day in rural area, less than 2,100 calories per day in urban area. Okay, how do you measure per capita consumption expenditure? How much you are spending from your pocket? How much are you spending from your pocket? Now, somebody here will not dare to think of your iPhone. So, forget about that.
Okay.
Got the point.
If they are above this, then it's all right.
So, above this, now I will check what is the debt increase. Debt was one among the highest. This was the stressed aspect. But savings are coming down, especially in metros, because of okay, again words will come up, that's the problem. Because of increase in prices. Inflation means metro, Delhi, 80,000, suppose your salary. What can you do? Below poverty line. You will feel that way. The same 80,000 in village, you will have a pretty decent life. Why? I can save also. Can I save here? No. It depends on multiple factors, but this is the reason. So here, when it comes to expenditure, government's logic is here. But what I should check? Savings dropping, not good. Debt is increasing, not good. But if the debt is increasing, if it is for asset creation, better. But if it is for this, not okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
We went a little offbeat for the question, but our topic is how to prepare. Our topic you should not forget, how to prepare economics. That is the topic. Okay, so I think government policies, and see, policy also is not PLI. No. You should think why PLI? What is the purpose? Will it create jobs? Will it create growth? When I understand, I need not mug up. I think you got my point. So that is how, there's an approach to it. That approach, if you grasp, then things are very simple. Okay, so some breaking the myths. Okay, so before I break the myths, when I say word, why words are important, why, for example, when I say capitalism, somebody said capitalism runs on market, right? So what is a market? Market is a place where buyers and sellers meet. Market runs on what then? Market runs on two important things. That is, one is demand and another one is supply. Everybody knows this. Okay, don't worry. Demand, then what is demand? Obvious, next question would be, these are all words. I said first would be words. Once I know the words, economics is simple. Then what is demand? Very good. It is a willingness to buy a product. Okay. But not only your willingness to buy, but also your ability to pay. You want a Lamborghini, you're a salaried employee. Finished. No, you should not think only. Got the point, right? You can't think also. See, this is basically, it is out of your reach because you don't have the ability to pay. Simple logic. Now, in India, even today, there are many who are outside the market. Market economy does not want those who are outside the market. Okay, I give a very famous example every time, that is LIC advertisements. If you see LIC advertisement, You have seen the LIC ad. You will find a very fantastic advertisement where madam is cooking, husband clean shaved, white shirt, nicely tucked, corporate job, I think, and he's going to office. Suddenly she gets a bad dream. Husband is no more. Jeevan Suraksha. This is the advertisement. This is the advertisement. You did not show a poor man living in a hut. Husband has gone to the farm for farming. Snake bite. Husband no more. Jeevan Suraksha. Same advertisement, I thought in this way. My mind was saying, why can't this advertisement be like this? Why it will not be like this? And remember, mind you, it is government insurance. LIC is a government insurance. For a government insurance also, why are you selecting somebody who's going to office? Got the point? Why? Because they are inside. I don't want somebody who is outside. Got the point? That is the reason I don't want somebody. These are excluded from the market because they do not have the ability to pay. So today the biggest problem is primary education is also here. Primary education, forget about higher studies. Primary education, primary healthcare. This is called as marketization of basic services. Basic services are also marketized today. You can't run away from capitalism. Many people say, I want to go somewhere. Where will you go? Go to some ashram, there also. Got the point, right? See, this is, you should observe, even spirituality falls here most of the cases. Most of the cases, they are institutionalized. Capitalism works on institutionalization. That means capitalism creates money minting machines. Institutions mint money. You're creating money minting machines. Today, who is the most powerful in capitalistic societies? Who is powerful? Business owner or the investor? Suppose a scientist is coming up with a patent. The name will not be, it is the patent. Who holds the patent? Patents are under the company. Lupin Pharma holds so many patents. Eris Pharma holds so many patents. It is a company that holds patents. This is a world of capitalism. So this is something which you should understand. Health and education are also part of market or marketization of basic services. That is the reason bureaucracy, government is required, government pension schemes are required, government health programs are required, government MG and REGS programs are required for those who are outside the market. I think this is clear. Understood? So understanding market is one word, and then looking at real life examples. Why today there is so much of problem? Why is there a need for somebody to provide or government to provide? So that means government welfare schemes are required. Very important. Very important. Is that clear? Right. Now see, breaking the myth. This is what I say, call it as breaking the myth. What does breaking the myth means? Many a times what we think is economics is difficult because somebody else has told that this is difficult. Okay, or somebody has mentioned UPSC itself is very tough because I have not cleared, so therefore you will also not clear. Now these kind of things, I will find out myself. I will fail, but I will fail by myself. Very important understanding. You don't decide what I will do. So many a times things get complicated because of following few things that I will call it as maybe market and other things. Okay, so here, first thing, breaking the myth. UPSC economics, very complex, technical, no. If something is technical, remember it will not come in exam. If it is coming in exam, it's going to come once in every 4 years, for which I will not prepare. There are many other easy questions from other subjects which I will mark. Very simple. You will not prepare for that one odd question which is asked. For example, last time they've asked, what is beta of a share? Of course, that's not difficult. If you would have opened some stock market app, you will know that beta is there. But if you have not done anything, probably you'll leave the question. But you can't prepare betas and other variables of options, etc. That's not possible. This is what you should understand. Suppose there is a technical question, you will not prepare for that question. Got the point? Okay, this is one. Then fear of numbers and graph. Many people are afraid of numbers and graph, therefore they feel economics is all about this. UPSC last graph-based prelims question was in 2004. After that, there is no graph-based question. We will draw few graphs in mains to get that, you call it as one additional mark, but no prelims questions. Okay, then is economic background required? Not at all required. It's not at all required. Any any background, anybody can understand basic of what is demand, what is supply. There is unnecessary notion that, and I feel many economics students also get less marks. For example, history background students get less marks in history optional because they feel that they know everything. Math students failing in CSAT, they are not real engineers. These are duplicate engineers. Okay, so there are different types of engineers. Today, because engineering supply is more, demand has dropped. It is all about too much of supply. And therefore, everybody is engineer. Every house has engineers now. And true engineers don't know. That is what Narayan Murthy was saying. What was he saying? 98%, of course, I've reduced it. 98% of engineers, I can't train them also. Not my word. Infosys head. Okay, so that is background not required. Interpreting news and articles. Now, this is very important. See here, how do I interpret news and articles? First of all, I should know what is there in my syllabus. When I start my preparation, syllabus should be there here. If something is relevant to the syllabus, only then I will spend time. If it's not there in the syllabus, I will not break my head. Out of interest you want to read, that is different. For example, Tata has done something today with respect to its profits, quarterly profit, that, this, not so important. Maybe IPO, Bajaj Housing Finance in news, if you see. Okay, it is about IPO. Most of them have applied. Of course, I have not applied, that's a different thing, but most of them have applied. So IPO, initial public offering, word is important. Word is important. Why? Because it is there as part of my capital market syllabus. And last 5 years, the questions in capital market have increased. And therefore, that word is important. Then how is IPO issued? Is it important? Not important. I was into valuations only earlier, IPO valuations. That was my job, investment banking. But is it required? Not at all required. I just want to know what is IPO. Okay, why is he issuing IPO? Okay, and how is it relevant with respect to the exam in the capital markets? Were there any previous questions on this topic? Very clear. When I read something, you should be commercial, capitalist attitude. No? Where will I use it? How much will be the relevance, etc. Don't read something which is not required. For that, how do I identify? One, interpreting news and articles will be based on, first thing, syllabus. Second thing, over a period of time, previous questions. These are the two important things you will keep in mind. Previous question papers of UPSC and also UPSC conducted exams. UPSC conducted exam means CDS, CAPF. If you see CAPF recent papers also, CDS and CAPF papers, they are far tougher than our UPSC prelim. This you will understand. Go and see. Okay, so interpreting news articles, that is how you do. Now the last important aspect here, bulky textbooks in the market. Now bulky textbook, is it required? My suggestion is not required. Bulky textbook, many textbooks are there. Of course, I take one example, Ramesh Singh, Nitin Singhania, culture. I'm not against anybody. Okay, so every year the book size will increase. Why? Because when a question comes, he will add 50 pages, 100 pages related to the question. And you think that the question has come from that book. No. The pages were added after the question has come. We have to use our head. Okay, but doesn't mean you should not read. But select one textbook, fix to that textbook and continue reading that text. Anything of your choice. But once you have fixed it, that is your textbook. You fixed Ramesh Singh, read Ramesh Singh. You're not fixed, I'll talk about the reference books. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, so what should I do then? These are like, what are the problems like? Okay, so here, what should I do? First and foremost, keywords, stick to the basics. Very important. Don't think if there are 12 questions, 6 will be pure basic. Earlier, all 12 used to be from basic only. Now, last 2 years, he has increased the difficulty level. Wantedly is doing because all of you are taking coaching. And moreover, there is a lot of information available to you at one click of a button. And that is the reason UPSC is also telling you, come, we will see. You prepare and come, I will also show what I can frame. This is the attitude you see in the last 2 years. Okay, so but primarily most important would be basics. 2, linking concept with real life examples, as I was talking about LIC or something. So this, why you should link is basically it will register in your mind. Today if I ask you, what about unemployment situation in US? Okay. Is it good, bad? Bad, but August figures show it is a little better than July. Okay. Now, what will happen to bank interest rates in US? If this unemployment is high in US, unemployment is high. Unemployment, everybody knows what is unemployment. Not having job. And if this is the case and the economy is not doing well, will there be any change in the policy of banks? What should they do? Give easy loan or make loans difficult? Give easy loan, people consume more, economy gets revived, and therefore things start moving. Okay, that means everything would be interlinked. You'll observe that the federal bank is taking some policies to handle these problems. Okay, so don't worry, federal bank is the bank in US. Okay, fine. So then don't believe the market or veterans who complicate things. This I've mentioned many times. Why? Because veteran means somebody who's already written exams for like 4 or 5 years and he feels he knows everything. Okay, and unnecessarily will create fear. That is the only way. If the veteran is helping you, that's a different thing. Then complete research on syllabus and previous year questions. Now this is the most important aspect of your whole preparation. If you ask me, tell me one thing which will sail me through UPSC. One most important, only one out of all. This one. I think after this, mock papers. After this, mock papers. But first is this. Okay. Then make your own handwritten notes. Yes. Make your own handwritten notes. Okay. So how to make, we will see after some time. Is this clear till here? Understood. Now going to the syllabus of UPSC. This is the syllabus of UPSC. Of course, this is mains. Mains UPSC syllabus is clearly defined. Everything is clearly written. He is telling you, see, questions will be from here. But you are not seeing. This is the problem. He is telling you, questions will be from here. Questions will be from here. If you see, food processing and related industries in India, scope and significance. This was a question. Scope and significance of food processing. Okay. Upstream, downstream requirements, supply chain management, land reforms in India, recent mains. You go and check the paper. Clearly given what the success of land reforms in India. Okay, what are the reasons for success of land reforms in India? You can check. Okay, so clearly mentioned. Okay, now one more thing here. You can see issues related to direct, indirect, farm subsidy, MSP, public distribution system, objective functions, limitation. PDS, limitation. Mains question. Go and check. 10 marker. What are the challenges of public distribution system? He's asking you. See, I will ask from here. Are you able to get this? Here you can see Indian economy, issues related to planning, mobilization of resources. Now, of course, we should also know slowly how to interpret the syllabus. For example, if you see a word like mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment, clearly mentioned. So, UPSC asks, keeping economic growth at the center, most of the questions are asked. Do you think market economies need to become inclusive? This was a question. What is the role of financial inclusion in enhancing economic growth? That means growth is at the center. Okay. For example, mobilization of resources. Savings is, what is the meaning of mobilization of resources? Anybody? How do you mobilize resources? That is what is mobilization. How do you mobilize resources? One way of mobilizing resources is savings. Savings is one way. So, UPSC 2018 mains, savings is an important factor for growth. What are the other things other than savings which will affect economic growth? Go and check. This is the question. Which topic is that? Savings is an important factor. It's a resource. Okay. Are you able to get this? See, government can mobilize resources through what? One, taxes. Taxes. Okay, tax is also one source of mobilization. It is, see, two things are important. How do I mobilize resources? Then how do I spend efficiently? Tax is one source. Okay, and it's a source for the government. For the private fellow, how does private fellow mobilize resource? IPO, like Bajaj, housing finance, IPO issued, monies. Regulate this. Venture capitalists. Don't worry, startups are there. Startups, how to raise money? How does Zomato raise money? Okay, so they go to venture capitalists or angel investors. They will put money in the company. They are mobilizing resources like that. Mobilization of resources. So that is a topic. First of all, once you should know the syllabus, then you should interpret the syllabus. How do you interpret the syllabus? See the previous questions. I think you're getting this. See the previous question. So this is the next step. So you know, so here it is clearly defined. From here only the questions will come. Very clearly demarcated in UPSC, and UPSC mains will not have questions on capital market, share market, all that. No. Why? Because developmental issues. They want you to be good in developmental issues, means poverty, unemployment related problems, growth related issues. I think you're getting my point, right? Okay. Or maybe you should also know how jobs should be getting created, or maybe different sectors of the economy, primary sector, secondary, tertiary services, secondary, like that. So this is very clearly demarcated. And see, effects of liberalization on economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. Direct questions from here. Okay, how MSMEs will affect growth? There was a question recently. There was also a question, LPG policy. See, for example, they said new economic growth process was can be seen as a jobless growth. Okay, do you agree with this view? Give arguments in favor of your answer. So new economic reforms, or 1991 you call it as, 1991, LPG. Okay, so if you don't know the words, don't worry, but that is the period after which there is over-tertiarization. Over-tertiarization means too much of services sector. Too much of services sector. Tertiary sector is services sector. See, basics they will ask. Even this year, prelim also he has asked, he has given some options and he has given which primary, secondary, tertiary. If you know the prelims paper, if you go and check this year's paper also, there was one critical question like mineral exploration. Where will it go? Storage of agriculture, services. Like this, match the following. That is where did you pick that question from? Geography, NCERT. Got the point. Okay. So this is, now for prelims, UPSC has not defined the syllabus. For prelims, UPSC has not defined the clear structure of the syllabus. For prelims, what has to be done is, from the previous year papers, we can structure the syllabus based on the PYQ. So based on the PYQ, we will get around 11 to 12 topics. These are the topics in the syllabus. So UPSC never mentions like specifically national income, money and banking, inflation. For mains, it has mentioned. That is the reason guessing questions in mains is easy in economics. In economics, if 8 questions are there, you can guess 7, because repeatedly the questions will come from there, number 1. Number 2, you should also understand that if I do previous year questions, my 70% of the preparation is over. If I religiously do previous questions, if I do research on previous questions, 70% of syllabus is over. People don't believe me. I said not solve, I said research. There's a difference between solving and doing research. If I do research on PYQ, my 70% of the syllabus will be done. I'll show you what is research. Okay, so this is the syllabus from PYQs: national income, money and banking, inflation, monetary policy, poverty, external sector, public finance, all this. These are the topics for prelims. Okay, so prelims is basically 15 questions. If they're asking, you can see there will be most of the questions are from 6-7 areas. Is that clear? Now comes the most important aspect, like books to be read for the exam. So what are the books to be read for the exam? This is independent choice. Okay, so I say you can decide what are the books you want to read, but at the same time, I have made a list based on certain criteria. I'll tell you the criteria also. So first of all, those who don't know ABC of economics, that is, you don't know what is black money. Okay, you don't know what is inflation. You don't know how money gets minted by RBI. You don't know what is RBI. You don't know what is a bank. I'm taking from that level. So for them, there is a textbook here. I've put basic reading here. And this I've written, so you want to know about economics, Rupa Pai. Very basic, not for everybody. So the book is like this. This is you can order this on Amazon. This is a very thin book. And this is not for everybody. This is for those who feel that I don't know anything. I don't know anything, but I want to start. So you can start by reading this book. It will take only maybe one day. If you're a slow reader, it will take 1 hour or 2 hours if you read fast. Okay, so this will tell you what is black money. Even a 6th standard boy will understand what is economics. And that is basic reading, not linked to UPSC. It is to give you that, okay, fine, this is what I read, and then go to the sessions or maybe prepare on your own, whatever it is. Two very important basic reading book which I've put: 17 Years of Indian Economy, Re-Emerge, Re-Invest, Re-Engage, Sanjay Baru. This generally we read for interview. And this book shows how Indian economy has evolved over the last 75 years. And this is also, I'm not putting it in the UPSC category. So this is how the book looks like. See the size of the book. I don't select books which are bulky. So this is the book. Now what does this is not basic, but what does this book? This book is about how Indian economy has evolved from last 75 years, and he has observed Indian economy from very close quarters in the system. And he talks about planning, what happened, how India was before. See, everybody thinks that India followed socialism. No. But if you look at Kautilya's Arthashastra, talks about market economy. So Kautilya says the king should not interfere in the affairs of the traders. That means he's saying the government should not interfere into the economic fundamentals of the country. This is nothing but capitalism only. In socialism, government control is more. So everybody thinks India was socialistic always. No, Kautilya supports market. And Kautilya also says making money is a healthy pursuit, provided in brackets he will put through ethical means. Okay, making money is a healthy pursuit, because once wealth is created, then only you can think of redistribution of wealth. Wealth creation is one, redistribution is another. So if I don't create wealth, then how do I redistribute? Are you able to get this? So this is how Kautilya. If you see, Mahatma Gandhi ji never supported capitalism. Gandhiji never supported. There are enough resources for people's need, but not for their greed. Very clear. And capitalism brings an aspect of profit motive or greed. Gandhiji never supported pure socialism also. Gandhiji said government will not be the owner of maybe the resources, land, labor, whatever, land. So government will only be a trustee. You know what is a trustee? It's called a trusteeship model. Trusteeship model. I will operate on behalf like a trustee. So that is what Gandhiji is very close to Karl Marx. And that is the reason we did not adopt Gandhian model. Emotional. We adopted Nehruvian model. Centralized approach. Gandhiji, decentralization. Villages, common man. Nehruji, policy here, push it to the bottom. I think you're getting my point right. Very clear. Okay, so everything is there, like how Indian economy, planning system, economic reforms, how it evolved, service sector. This is what it is. This also you can read daily, one page. Outside UPSC. Outside UPSC. Not for, like, you can't count it as one UPSC book. You're reading it just like that. Okay. Then comes for prelims. So the first book which I should read is Indian Economic Development. Indian Economic Development, 11th standard NCERT, which I've written here, 1. You will not start with macro economics. You will not start with macro, very clear I'm telling you, unless you're from economics background. Okay, you're not from economics background, don't start from macro, start with Indian Economic Development. You will get a feel, okay. And once the feeling is good, then you will read macro. You will not read macro because there are graphs and there are some, not only graphs, you also have some numbers and things like that. You might feel, oh, this is difficult. Never, confidence should come down. Okay, so later you will read that. Okay, so that is about macro. We will not read micro. We will only read macro. And we are reading Indian Economic Development. That is the first book. Okay, then I have written one textbook here for prelims. And of course, I have written this book for the reason being, this book is also, it's a small book. But if you already purchased Ramesh Singh or other big books, you need not, you can eliminate this. This is Indian Economy by Shankar Ganesh. It is IRS officer written book. And this book is for concepts, it is only for prelims. And it is a very small textbook. It has a pink cover. Okay, so you've already taken some book, then this is not required. You're reading vision material, then also this book is not required. Is this clear? Understood? Yes. So then for mains, here you can see for mains what I've mentioned is, here you can see my first source for mains is internet. My first source for mains is internet, and I will use internet as much as possible. I will not depend on textbook. Remember, if somebody is saying all mains questions are from my textbook, then that is not the case. Okay, so previous year questions and internet. Vision IAS, there is a value addition material. Vision IAS value addition material. Why value addition material? Value addition material means topics which are not there in textbooks, like land reforms, food processing, agriculture extension services. These are there. These are available in the resources site. You can download. And this value addition material has those topics which are generally not there in the textbook. So you can have that and you can keep that. You can download that. And okay. Then coming to current affairs, what should be done? Okay, so I'll come to current affairs after 5 minutes. Before that, you will also have to read economic survey and budget. These are the areas, economic survey and budget. See, economic survey, budget. See, many a times students feel economic survey is bulky. Then what to do? Read Vision IAS synopsis. For everything, we have a solution. You don't want to read, then there is synopsis. But if you can read, then you can read the survey document. Got the point? But you feel, no, I don't want to read, then read the synopsis. But is synopsis required? Yes, you have to read. Okay, budget also same, synopsis will be there. You need not read last 3 years economic survey. 1 year is sufficient. Some students feel like, sir, somebody told we have to read 3 years. Why? Without reading those 3 years also, I can mark the answer. Got the point? That's not like that. It is unnecessary stuff. Okay, so I think that is the reason I've written minimalist approach. Okay, but still some students feel, sir, I want a textbook. What should I do? Okay, so then there is a book called Indian Economy by Mishra and Puri. And this I will only use for reference because not specifically written for UPSC. So suppose, how do I reference means what? What will I do? Suppose I feel that agriculture is very important. And agriculture, more questions are coming. Then I will read only agriculture from that particular textbook. Data is also not updated. You have to update your data. I hope it is clear. Okay, so this is the book list and other things. Okay, I hope it is clear. No confusion, right? Now coming to current affairs. I have written something like Indian Express. This can also be Hindu. But somebody will ask, sir, is newspaper compulsory? I believe it is compulsory. But again, some toppers might say, I have not read newspaper. Is it possible? Yes. But what I believe is 45 minutes of newspaper reading will build confidence. Okay, the question may not come, but it will build confidence that you know current affairs. That will give me 2 marks more. Got the point, right? And there is repetition of news. Therefore, it is a revision. That is the reason newspaper is important. I'll not spend 3 hours, but at least I can spend 45 minutes. And here in Indian Express, there is explained column, and which is very much suited for UPSC. For example, recently there was one article about Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana analysis, detailed analysis of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan. Jan Dhan, everybody should have a bank account, financial inclusion, 2015 plus. Okay, so Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, so like that you will find some articles which are very much useful. I can use that in the mains also. There were science and technology prelims questions picked up from explained column in the recent past. And that is the reason I've mentioned this. You can replace this with Hindu if you're used to Hindu. Wantedly, I've not written Hindu because Hindu sometimes hits the government more. Logic very simple. Bureaucrat, balanced view. You might get aligned with the newspaper which you're reading. That there is a problem. No, you feel like that. You feel, and some are so emotional, they can't disconnect themselves. They'll go, government is not doing anything. No, not like that. Government is doing, but at the same time, implementation issues. You'll look from a 360-degree perspective. Then you have a magazine. Okay, so Vision IAS also has a monthly magazine. If you're able to read the monthly magazine, it is good. But you don't have time. What should I do? Newspaper, and there is PT. PT is a compilation of all this magazine. Oh, you have PT 365, Mains 365. And then economic survey and budget. Keep the resources small and read more number of times. Keep the resources limited, read number of times. Don't expand resources and revise less. No, that is not. Less resource, more revision. More resource, less revision. First one is better. First one is better. Less resource, more revision. 3 times I will solve previous questions. Keep less resources, do more revision, practice more questions. I hope it is clear, right? This should be the approach, very clear. Now coming to doing research, I said most important aspect is doing research on previous questions. So what is this doing research? It is not about solving. See, when we solve questions also, it is better that 2 or 3 sit together and solve. Of course, these 2, 3 should be good. If somebody is not good, push him off. At least he should be getting us water. Okay, so yes. So it is like we have to have a team which contributes so that I'll be able to solve it at a faster pace. Got the point, right? Now, fast is not about getting to the answer. For example, I take this example to tell you, every line has some word, new word. See here, consider the following. The question is like, which of the following is not part of FDI? This was the question. Which of the following, previous UPSC question, which of the following is not part of foreign direct investment? So, one word, what is FDI? Okay, then if there is FDI, there is also foreign portfolio investment. So, what is foreign portfolio investment? How is that defined? Okay, there's a definition, right? Suppose there's the investment into a single entity greater than equal to 10%. That is the definition. Don't worry about that. Then comes foreign currency convertible bond. Now, this can be a question in the subsequent years. I think you're getting my point right. Okay. ADR, GDR was a question already in UPSC. Got the point? So, now here it is an option 3. So, now FCCB itself is a topic for my research. What is FCCB? Foreign currency convertible bond. How is it different from a regular bond? Then comes, what is a bond? Can I invest in these bonds? Or only corporates will invest? Can individuals buy these bonds? Okay, then comes this FCCB, is it FDI, part of FDI or not? This is called as research. I do in-depth research with respect to FCCB. Similarly, foreign institutional investment, then comes what it is. What are these conditions under which this will become a FDI? Are you able to get this? Now, GDR, if GDR is there, there is also American depository receipt. First of all comes my research starts with what is a depository receipt. Then comes what is a receipt. This is how I dig deep. No? What is a receipt? Then comes what is a depository receipt. Now, once I understand what is depository receipt, then comes what is the need for this receipt. Why is it there? There is some purpose, no? Otherwise, why will that receipt be there? Then who are going to invest using these receipts? This is what you dig deeper. One question will take half an hour. This one question will take more than 30 minutes if I really do research without knowing these words. I think you're getting my point. That is what I mean by research. It's not like A1, 4. No. That's not the case. Research is different from solving the question. Solving, everybody will do. Once I do research, you will understand the mind of UPSC. UPSC has a mind. Every examiner has a mind. Once I catch the pulse, you will mark the answer. It is not the answer. See, some people, they study only 3-4 hours every day. They be working, but they clear the prelims. These are those candidates who understand the mind of the examiner. And that is the reason they get that 95, 100, 105, 110 with less effort. There will be few who will be slogging for 12 hours in the libraries. But still the exam prelims creates problem. This is because the mind of the examiner is not understood. This is a very important aspect. It's not the subject. Subject is everybody reads, everybody has some subject. It is not about that. It's about understanding the mind of the examiner. Why did he come up with that question? If you go back and check this question, who among the following can borrow using LAF? This was the question this year. Who can borrow using LAF is what? Liquidity Adjustment Facility. There's one question asked in the recent prelim. So how did UPSC, what is research? How did UPSC frame this question? You will understand that UPSC framed this question by opening the RBI website. It has gone there and then opened RBI website, seen LAF. Under that, who are the entities who can borrow, who is using LAF. My research will go till there. I think you're getting my point. My research will end going to the RBI website, seeing what is there. In the process, I may read something else that will come in the exam tomorrow. Got the point. Is that okay? Understood? So this is what, so NRE, this is one more. Similarly, there's one more, just to give you a brief idea. Now see, consider investments in the following assets. How many of above are considered? Okay, so the question is, which of the following are intangible assets? Intangible investment. This is the question. Which among the following is intangible? Previous UPSC only. Tangible, intangible. This was the question. What is intangible? You can't feel and touch. Intangible. Okay, so which one can I eliminate? Inventory. Inventory. Every company has inventory. What is this inventory? When I'm producing something, Maruti is producing something, it has some inventory in its godowns. Inventory can be finished good, car itself. Inventory can be raw materials used for producing the car. Inventory can be semi-finished goods. Semi-finished. Everything is inventory. Is that okay? Inventory is something which I can feel and touch. Okay, but brand will see. What is investment? That will give me future return. Investment is something, layman's language, no? Investment is something that will give me future return. What is this intangible investment that is giving me future return? Brand of a company. Will it give me returns? Yes. Mailing list of clients? Yes. Tangible means you can touch the paper. It's of people. See, it's a list of people, but that is not a physical entity. I have a list with me. I am sending the details of the new products which I produce. It's a list which I have. It's a mailing list which I have. Okay, and then intellectual property rights and other things. Got it? Okay, so it's a mailing list. Everybody gets this doubt. People you can feel and touch. But here the question is, mailing list of clients is some database. It's a database. That's it. It's not about public. It's not about people. It's database. My data is my strength, which will yield returns in future. Simple. Any product I produce, I send a mail, I get sales. If I generate more profits from existing clients, I'm more efficient. Because my client acquisition cost will be less. Every company has a client acquisition cost. I have to acquire new clients always. But if my client acquisition cost will be less, if I have a strong database of customers, I don't spend on acquiring new clients. My regular clients are my repeat customers. Are you able to get this? Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, so that is how the questions are. Just to give you a feel, that's it. Okay, now question comes up. Should we make our own notes? Very important. Now what I believe is, making notes from NCERT is not required. But making your own notes, handwritten notes, one notes of yours, and that note should be, the qualities of the notes are very important. The notes can't be 400 pages. Got the point? The notes can't be 400 pages. Is notes required for prelims? I believe no. I believe no. I believe notes not required for prelims. I solved all previous questions, solved mock papers. There is also previous papers, notes available. Vision document is also there, 7 years PYQ. There's a book material available. Like this, already everything is available. Then why should I make notes on prelims is the question. There's no point in making notes on prelims. Okay, but if you want, that's a different case, if you have time. But for mains, is notes required? Yes, it is required. Okay, and that note should be, number one, crisp notes for faster revision. It is with flow charts, block diagrams. So it is so crisp that the whole economy is condensed into 100 pages. And I will read it 100 times before going to exam. If I make a 500-page notes, when will I read? One block diagram will tell me what are the problems of food processing. Are you able to get this? It's very important that the notes is very crisp for faster revision. Again, you don't, suppose you already have a class notes which is 400 page. Again, you're making a notes of 300 page. What is the fun in making? Your class notes also should be condensed into 75, 80 page or 100 page. And if you want to make notes other than the class notes, it should be based on the pointers, prepare pointers on topics of main syllabus. I showed you main syllabus. Each topic, scope and significance of food processing, 10 points. Okay. Problems of PDS, 10 points. I've been getting my point. Mobilization of resources, 10 points. For everything, I'll have a pointer or a flow chart prepared, which I revise. When the topic comes, within 8 minutes, I have to write. So I straight away go to that notes. My brain goes there, maps it, and then rest is English. I think you're getting this, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. So if I prepare mains notes, it is pointers on topics of main syllabus. Very important, okay? And our class notes also should be condensed to less than 100. Initially, I used to say 50. Then students were saying, how is it possible? So therefore, I doubled it. Otherwise, class notes should be 50 page. Condensed to 50. See, the more you are able to condense means the more you have understood. Condensing is not easy unless you understand. And notes should always be made after reading 2 to 3 times. Remember this. When I read and understand, only I can condense something. You're able to condense something means you have understood it well. Very simple. Very simple. And you have to read multiple number of times, you have understood it, then you can make a notes. Okay, so crisp notes for faster revision. Okay, so prepare pointers on topics of main syllabus. Okay, then 2 more entities here. One, separate fact sheet for faster processing. This is very important. I will have a separate fact sheet for, that means I have flow charts, complete syllabus in 100, 120 page. Then I have a fact sheet. Fact sheet is what? Contribution of agriculture to GDP, contribution of agriculture to employment, contribution of service sector to GDP. Currently, what is the growth rate? Next year, what is the target of growth rate? What are the deficit targets? I have everything at one place. Now, fact sheet is relevant to what? All topics. Most important topics of mains where questions are going to come in the exam. There are 6 areas in mains where questions keep coming. Okay, so 1 is economic growth, 2, inclusive growth, 3, agriculture and related activities, then 4, poverty and unemployment. Are you able to get this? There are very clear demarcations that questions come from here, and therefore my data also is there. In mains 365, we also have a data sheet, separate data sheet. Okay, so you can rely on that, or you can prepare your own data sheet. It should be handy. Then last comes up value addition. Value addition is the last thing. People try to focus more on value addition currently. Like first knowledge, then revisions, then value addition. Value addition comes at the end. So what is the meaning of value addition? Value addition is to grab that 1 additional mark. See, half mark more for 18 questions is 9 marks in one paper. I end up with getting around 45 to 50 marks more than the competitor. And it will decide my life, where I stand. It will decide the service I get. Okay, so that is the importance of value addition. Is it required? Yes, it is required. But at what stage I do it? Once I have done everything, then comes the value addition. So what is the meaning of value addition? How will I impress the examiner so that he will be ready to give me? He will not hold. He will say, take. You take, you are different. He should feel that. You are giving him that feeling. That is because, how do you make that? How do you do that? That you are making his life more simple. That means while reading your sheet, he should feel it is not complicated. Make his life simple, number 1. Number 2, 1 picture talks about 1,000 words. But I will use that only in 15 markers generally, not in 10 markers because of space constraint and other things. So in 15 marker, I can tell something like, yes, see, this indicates several things. For example, there was a question in mains. Okay, the growth process in India, okay, moved from, generally the growth process moves from primary to secondary and secondary to tertiary. That means it moves from primary sector to secondary sector to tertiary. Unlike India, where there was an abrupt jump or a shift from primary to tertiary. That means from agriculture you jump to services, neglecting the secondary sector. Okay. What is the impact of that abrupt shift on Indian economy? If you jump like this from agriculture to services, what will be the impact? Then what should the government do to strengthen the secondary sector? This was the question. Is the question okay? Every economy moves from primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary. Unlike India, jumped from primary to tertiary, neglecting or bypassing the secondary sector. Now, this bypassing of secondary sector happened during 1990s. LPG reforms, P.V. Narasimha Rao, Manmohan Singh, LPG reforms. So here this chart talks about that basically. So see, this is in the Excel sheet, if you see 1990s, this is the data showing contribution of different sectors to GDP. GDP output, production, let's say GDP, 100 rupees is the GDP. 30.9, green one, is coming from agriculture. 22.3 is coming from industry, secondary sector. 45.8 is coming from services. But after LPG, 10 years after LPG, if I take the data, you observe that agriculture 30.9 reduced to 21.8. Services from 45 became 53.7. Whatever reduction happened here, you have gained it in the services. But if you see industry, it is there only. 22.3, 24. That means industry growth is there. That means there is a bypass of which sector? Secondary sector. This is a picture for that question. This picture talks about bypassing. This picture says it is also a result of 1991 economic reform. This picture also says over tertiarization. Today, 54 to 55% of the population, 54 to 55% of the contribution to GDP is coming from services sector, over tertiarization. This picture says so many things. It's a bar chart, right? There can be line graph. There can be a pie chart, which makes things more clear to the examiner. How do I make that? I make it from topper's notes, topper sheet, download, and we will see what different they have done. How did they convince the examiner to get that one additional mark because of which they are in the list? Toppers are toppers because of presentation. Knowledge is only 50%. I think you're getting my point. Knowledge is 50%. After reading for 5 years, you will also have knowledge. Many others would have had better knowledge than the topper. Got the point? There would have been many economists who wouldn't have cleared UPSC. I think you're getting my point. So this is very important, that the topper has some distinctive qualities which he has done with respect to his presentation primarily. And that too in that stipulated time period. So that you will learn from the topper sheet. Initially it will be difficult, but later on it becomes a habit. A bar graph, pie chart becomes a habit. You've done many times, it's okay. So this is also same thing. It's like this is showing contribution to GDP, contribution to employment. Two together. I want to show additional data. How do I do that? Next comes, I can show 3 things in one graph. Here I'm only showing 1, here I'm showing 2. So one is how much each sector is contributing to GDP. Second is how much it is contributing to employment. Today problem is what? 55% of GDP is coming from services, but services contributing to 32.3% of employment only. But agriculture, if I see 17% of GDP is coming from agriculture, but 45% of the population even today is dependent on agriculture for employment. So this is how I can show through a picture. This is what I call it as value addition. Got the point? Is that okay? Understood, no? Now, once I do this, then what should I do? Nothing else. Repeat. Who can stop me? Repeat, understand keyword, previous year question solving, research, crisp notes and flowcharts, data sheet, value addition. Then what? Repeat. Repeat. I think you're getting my point, right? No, one more book. One more textbook. No. Read optional. Getting the point, right? Put energy there, no? Where you want 300. So this is something like understand keywords, previous question papers, crisp notes and flowchart, data sheet, value addition. Then what? Same thing, repeat. repeat and repeat. That's it. This is the formula, which I believe this is the formula. And it works. You have to believe me, it works. This works, everything works. Okay, so now one more question. Yojana Kurukshetra required, not required for general studies? Not required. You want to read, you want to be enlightened, that's a different case altogether. But is it required? Not required. You make a notes, you can't make notes, you don't have time, and then you don't revise it, and therefore that content is anyhow deleted after 6 months. That is not the case. It's all about repeat and repeat, repeat and repeat. That should be the formula. I hope it is clear. Understood? Any doubt here? Understood, no? So, now see, last 2 minutes. Topper sheet, of course, this is about flowcharts, just to tell you, don't worry. Okay, so this is about the flowchart which I make in my notes, seeing which I'll understand significance of food processing. After that, this is what is food processing. One page, if I see, food processing is over. And then I have the data sheet. Data sheet separate is there. These are the side headings. And I know little English, I will manage. I think you're getting my point right. See, economics is all about some English, in between economic words, inclusive growth, inequality, jobless growth, plus data. That's it. That's it. It's not about economics, core economics. No, that is the difference. Okay, so this you understood. Don't use it in the exam. That is what. See, I am also engineer. Okay, so we engineers basically that is a problem. But you. No, in the exam it is better. Don't write GOVT, government. Better. Increase, decrease I can use sometimes in a pointer format. It's not that completely increase, decrease. So in a small flowchart, if I'm showing in a 10 marker, do you expect me to write increasing agriculture demand? No space, no. There I will write. But in the sentences, I will not. Suppose in a 10 marker, generally flowchart is not compulsory. But if I want to draw, I'm drawing it in a very limited space. Then I can't write a full line there. I want space also. No? But don't write jargon which he can't understand. Don't expect that Amartya Sen will come and correct your sheet. That is what you should know. I hope it is clear. That is something which you should know. You can't complicate things. You write something and ask him, you understand. Huh? No. Okay, so this is about topper sheet. Now, later on, you can download Vision toppers. And you always remember, there are, see the toppers box only. This is a box approach. Of course, this is one topper sheet. I'm not saying this topper, that topper. Select that topper, it is who is very close to your style, which I believe is the best thing. Some engineers are there. There are toppers who have written only point format. And they are toppers. They're not first rank, 50th rank, 60. They write only point format. One small introduction, one small conclusion. They are in the list. Suppose our English is bad, I will select that topper who is writing point format and still drawing good flowcharts, and he is in the list. He is my topper. Simple logic. No, he should. One more thing. When I'm looking at the topper sheet, this topper would have written his answer in his 6th attempt, 3rd attempt, 2nd attempt, 4th attempt, whatever it is. You are writing now. And don't compare and say, oh, I am here only. You are where you are. Got the point right. Okay, so it is only that you will understand this is the way out. It is not that telling that you are great. They are not from heaven. Okay, over a period they have reached that state. I will learn from him, but I will not see that is completely different or away from me. That is very important because you lose your confidence. You can't go there. You can't go there. That is the reason I was saying make things simple. How many of you feel it is difficult? Why did I start the class with that? Because most important aspect in this game is confidence. And that is the reason somebody is going to reduce your confidence, keep them away. Reduce means what? You can't do. I will find out, no. If I clear, for me. If I don't, for me. You cleared, for you. Got the point right. This is a very important aspect. But I will, if you are helping me, I will take. I will grab. This should be the approach. I think it is clear. I hope it is clear. Understood? So refer topper sheets. Understand the style. If you are taking data from topper sheet, re-verify, back test it, because they are also humans. So back test the data, then get the approach right. And that is what you should be doing. I hope it is clear. Done. Any doubts?
In economics, in main paper, 8 questions are predictable.
There will be 8 to 9 only question. 9 you can predict, 7 to 8. No, the question is, no, it is all about marks you are asking, right? See, GS3 good marks is not only about economics. I should do well in my other subjects also. I should do my science and technology well, internal security well. Other things also I should do well, number one. Number two, addressing the question, writing the answer in line with the question. This is the problem. You know something, you just write. You're not writing and presenting in line with the question. When you do that, 100 is doable. If everybody is getting 70, we will get 95. That you should understand. And 95 is a pretty decent score. Where everybody is landing up with 70, if I'm getting 90, 95, if I'm getting 104, fantastic, no? So the main problem is addressing the question, writing in line with the question. That is the main problem. Okay, that comes through what? Practice. That is not for value addition. That is for comprehensive knowledge you will get about the evolution. It gives you. You have these bar graphs also. Some economics, like previous data of 1991, it is there. You can use it for introductions in essay. Unless and until it's very important, I will not write it. It's good book. No, websites, RBI is okay. RBI have asked you to search for the question. Website is basically, see, one is any coaching websites are there. Okay, but what I believe is government websites are more important for me. And what I do personally, I will tell you. Suppose there is BESEL norms. Okay, if you get a doubt, if I get a doubt, what I do is I go to the BESEL website straight. I'll not depend on the coaching or maybe the second-hand information. I'll go to the BESEL website. If there is a problem in WTO, I actually read from the WTO straight. Okay, and whenever it is government related, read it from the government websites. Okay, and anyhow coaching websites are anyhow there, they are handy for you. See, using economic survey, what I believe is there are only 6 areas where mains questions are generally asked. For example, inclusive growth is one, economic growth is another, poverty, unemployment, jobless growth, okay, industry, manufacturing, sectors. These are the areas where questions come. Okay, or food processing, land reform. That's all. Very clear. You go and check the papers. So where can I use? So one is growth, the first 2 chapters. Okay, there is data. Then agriculture. Then agriculture, food security, there is one topic. Okay, then for prelims again, everything becomes important. Okay, but for mains, basically it's very clear that agriculture, the first 2 chapters, etc., and something related to sustainable development, poverty, inequality, that becomes important. Mains is always about developmental issue. Prelims is everything I should know, concepts, everything I should know. Okay, so that is how you should do it. Is that okay? And you have to refer to the previous questions, yes. See, economics, what I believe is if you can do it, you can do it in around 60 to 75 days. Okay, but it looks difficult. Suppose, let's say, I talk about classes are around 45. Another 15 days for revision. Okay, if you're doing it on your own, let's say put another 25 days extra. So it should be 85 to 90 days, then it should be 90, around 3 months. Not more than that. That's too much. Because it's a general studies subject. Got it? Yes. That's all? Yes. Not to, no. There's a difference. I didn't say not to rely on notes. You can rely on notes. There's no point in making your own notes for prelims. There is a coaching notes. There is already a notes which is there. I'm saying your handwritten specific notes, which you do it in addition to the coaching, in addition to something else. If you're not going to coaching, then you have to make your notes. But for separately for prelims, I don't believe. Some students like NCRT, 1 notes. Indian economic development, 1 notes. Macroeconomics, 1 notes. This is the problem. That should not be there.
If I have class notes and I have purchased a book, which
Textbook.
so I do not combine all of that. I don't do that again, combining both of them and then
For prelims, no. For prelims, no. I believe no. So you revise the notes, class notes, one notes, class notes. Okay, you revise your current affairs. You will revise your previous year questions which you have solved. And also mock tests when you solve, there are difficult questions where you would have written, this I don't know, this I have to revise. I will revise all those questions. Mock tests, previous year questions, your class notes, okay, and then go to the exam. This is what I suggest. Okay. Yes, you can make. Definitely you can make notes of that itself will become a notes of the previous year questions. You don't have time in the market, that is also available. But it is better you make notes.
So if someone has class notes available of a previous year foundation batch, so how do you suggest we spend our time in economics? I don't, you said 90 days to read and then make notes and everything. I have notes. Now, how do you suggest, do I revise the classes again?
You have listened to the classes or you're taking your friends? Okay, then that is obviously class notes you would have already done. See, class notes should be revised in that 45 days, another 10 days. Yeah, again you have to revise the class notes. And when you're solving mock papers, you'll understand these are your weak areas. For example, when you're solving mock papers, you know national income, you're making mistakes. Monetary policy, you're making mistakes. Fiscal policy, there is a trouble. You get to know. You know your weak areas, then you'll work on your weak area. This is what you should be doing. 3 months, I said 3 months. But before exam, again, see 3 months on a wider side. It is like, because without coaching. With coaching, it should be ideally 75 days to 80 days. Not more than that. Is that okay? Yes. That's all then, thank you.